Here's the controversial truth about self-storage. Most investors never actually achieve freedom, even after buying that very first storage facility. They close the deal, they're eager and anxious, they start working on the operations, they stabilize the property, and then ultimately, because they don't have the right people, systems, and processes in place, they accidentally build another job for themselves. And that's not why we got into self-storage. Suddenly, they're the ones on the phone solving problems, talking to customers, and managing everything. And I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound like freedom to me. So in this final video, I'm going to show you something that most storage operators never learn. And it's how do you transition from an operator to an owner, from an operator to a pro. It's something I call the facility freedom method. And it's a simple framework that's going to allow your storage business to run through systems, people, the right framework and a rhythm so that the facility continues to produce income and generate revenue, whether you are working or not. So let's dive right in. Congratulations, you made it. Once you watch this video, you would have completed the entire cash flow maps acquisition system. You've learned how to define your buy box, how to set your market map, how to find and fund these deals, how to close like a pro, and how to stabilize your facility in the first 30, 60, and 90 days, and ultimately close with confidence. Now, here comes the part that most investors will never master, and that's just turning a simple deal into freedom, okay? And this particular video is called the Facility Freedom Method because it's where you're gonna go from operator to owner, and from being the one who might do everything to being the one who designs the system that does everything so that the facility can continue to generate revenue for you, make you and earn net cash flow while you're sleeping, regardless of what you're doing. And so that you can, if you can run one facility remotely, then you can run multiple facilities remotely. And as we close out module 5, which is about winning the deal, I want this session to feel like a celebration and a little bit of a reset because this is the beginning of the next level for you. So before we get tactical, there's something I want to remind you of. And I've said this numerous times already in the cash flow map system. I say this a lot inside of our Storage Wins community, but this business rewards progress, not perfection. It's all about having a mindset where you're going to take massive imperfect action. And I want to encourage you with something. Don't ever feel like you need to have every single answer before you make a move. Right? But trust that if you take that first step and then the next one, you're going to start to build momentum. And with every phone call, every system you create, every relationship you build, that's going to compound and grow your confidence. So as we step into this final video, before we even get into the Amplifier training sessions, which we got a lot of goodies in there for you, remember that what I said from the beginning, and I'm going to repeat it now, and this is going to be a bookend. Clarity creates confidence. Confidence is what starts to create that freedom. Okay, so the facility freedom method, the way that I've designed this video is built on 3 simple pillars. If you're taking notes right now and you're enjoying the video, that's a good sign. But if you want to move faster than everyone else watching this, you need the tools. Inside the Cash Flow Maps membership, the entire system is unlocked, plus every single template, underwriting tool, and all the resources that go with it. And that is not available here on YouTube. Click the link in the description, create your free account, and get the full Cash Flow Maps acquisition system in your hands. Now let's get back to the video. Number 1, it's about systems which create consistency. Number 2, people create leverage. And number 3, rhythm creates results. If you can master these, and your storage business is going to start to run without you, and it can grow without you, because you have the right systems in place, you have the right people. And understand that really in the first pillar, which is systems create consistency, freedom begins and starts with structure. I want you to have the mindset that if something happens more than once, it deserves a process and a system. Think about all the tasks that you and your team do repeatedly, either on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. And just to throw out a few things, like when a tenant moves in or a tenant moves out or a tenant is late, a unit becomes vacant, okay? And your boots on the ground now has to go in there and do a unit clean out, update the system, any type of marketing, bookkeeping, reports, like All those deserve systems, and it deserves a process, and you can document them. You can record a simple Loom video. These days we have incredible and powerful AI tools like ChatGPT or Claude or all these other ones, right? Grok. Well, you can leverage these tools to help you design a standard operating procedure, okay? A system, a checklist, a structure. And the goal is that anybody on your team could step in and execute that with or without you. Because systems don't ultimately remove you from the business. I think what they do, the way that I like to look at them, is they end up multiplying you. And when your system runs smoothly, the facility becomes far more valuable. Not just the value that you create, but to the business, right? The enterprise value, the way that banks and lenders are going to see it, potential buyers, partners, etc. Okay? Because like I said before, freedom comes from clarity, not complexity. A mentor of mine years ago told me something I'll never forget. He said, simplicity scales, complexity fails. Pillar 2, when you think about people that create leverage, that's the next step. It's all about delegation, okay? But it has to be about delegation done right, because you don't get freedom by doing everything yourself. You only got 24 hours in a day. So the way that you're going to build that bridge and ultimately get to freedom, it's not just with the systems, but then it's the people that run the system. It's by empowering others to do it with you and for you. And an example of that, your boots on the ground. How does he handle cleaning out units? How does he maintain the grounds? The call center, how do they deal with customer support issues? Virtual assistants, if you have one, how do they manage the data and handle the marketing and the follow-ups? The bookkeeper, what is the cadence, the rhythm? What is the process to do the books? Management company, if you're working with one, how do they handle the day-to-day operations? What is your communication with them? Everyone in the business needs clarity. And I like to use a simple framework that I learned years ago, which is what, when, why, and measure. Okay, so what's expected? When is it due? Super, super important. Why does it matter? And it's important that this is a big one, because if you don't get buy-in from your team and your team members, then it's probably not sustainable. If they don't understand why it matters, they might not think it doesn't matter, or it doesn't matter that it's due on this particular day. And then ultimately, how are you going to measure success? Like I said in the last video, what you measure and track will grow and expand. So how are you going to measure and define success? And understand that delegation is not about abdicating your responsibility. I've made that mistake before and it's bitten me in the butt. It's about creating accountability. So if you haven't yet, make sure that now once you're done with this video, you start to go through the Amplifier training, where as an example, in the Amplifier training sessions, we have a dedicated video on how you can find and hire your local boots on the ground team member. And anybody you hire, it's an extremely important team member. I don't care if it's a virtual assistant, a boots on the ground, a call center, a third-party management company, or anybody in between. Super, super important. Rhythm, pillar 3, I should say, it's about rhythm creating results. Freedom isn't about just checking out and it's like, hey, I'm going to go to Tahiti. I'll be on a beach for 9 months and I'll check back in. Okay. You need to establish a consistent operating cadence. And what does that look like? And if it's not you, it's got to be somebody. Maybe that's a partner or a chief operating officer, but when it comes to like weekly touch points and the cadence and rhythm, you want to make sure that you're communicating and you have at least a weekly meeting with your boots on the ground. All right. I like to review the reports, occupancy reports, revenue reports, delinquencies, move-ins, move-outs, all those types of things on a weekly basis. Bi-weekly, I meet with my third-party management company. That's in our case. Monthly, I'm meeting with my bookkeeper. We're doing revenue rate management. Again, I'm looking big picture, month over month at the reports. Quarterly, I'm looking at the reports as well. I'm also thinking about how are we trending from a net operating income perspective, CapEx, being in tune with like what needs to be done and getting ahead of things. Growth goals, right? Every business should set goals, and it's like, okay, this is where we were last year. This is where we are now. How do we get to that next level for us? How do we be the market leader in our particular 5-7 mile radius, whatever the case might be? Owners do not just do business, okay? They lead through the metrics, having the meetings, having the right systems and processes, having the right team members. One of the books behind me, which is a great book I highly recommend by Jim Collins, it's called Good to Great. And I think the way I would summarize that, it's about having the right people on the right bus and in the right seat. So one of the things that I share with coaching clients is you want to be a student of sales, marketing, and leadership. If you can get good at those three things, you will never starve. I don't care what you do and what business you're involved in. Storage is no different. Once you start to build this rhythm, you're going to start to see something pretty awesome happen. You're going to be less reactive. You're going to have more clarity, more confidence, more control without necessarily having to do more work. Why? Because the systems and the processes and the people that run these systems and processes are doing most of this for you. All right. So look, as we start to bring this to an end here, I want to talk about like, what does freedom really mean? Because for me, it's not just about more time, more money. It's freedom of choice. It's the choice to spend your time with who you want and how you want. The choice to work with certain people you like and respect. The choice to step away for a period of time, knowing that your business is going to continue to grow and thrive. And I think ultimately, if you're watching this and you've gotten to this point, that's why you're so committed to storage in the first place. Because it's a business that can serve your life, not a life that serves your business. And that's one thing that I learned from a coach of mine years ago. It's about creating a vision for your life and then building a business that supports and enhances that vision, where most people do the reverse. They pack their calendar with meetings and all this business stuff, and then they don't have time for life. That's the beauty of self-storage. It's a business that can give you your time back if done properly. And if you've gotten to this point, you now have the roadmap. You have the system to do this. All right. So look, here's what I want to encourage you to do. A couple final things. Now that you've completed the cash flow maps acquisition system, your next step is to go and amplify everything you've learned. And that's why we have designed the Amplifier training sessions. Okay. Where we go deeper into certain topics like finding and hiring a boots on the ground team member. We talk about different marketing channels to generate more leads and find more mom and pop storage facilities. We talk about the instant payday. It's like, hey, if maybe you need to generate a chunk of cash and you can find these facilities and wholesale them, or you can scale from one facility to many without losing freedom. And then we're going to talk about something that's been foundational to my success. I mean, this has meant everything to me, and it's coaching and community. Because look, you can have the best roadmap in the world, and I believe you have that now with self-storage. But if you're trying to do this alone, progress is going to be a lot slower, and at times it can be a lot harder. And that is the main reason I created the Storage Wins coaching community. This is where we walk alongside you to help you find your first or your next storage deal, help you get across the finish line, because what you ultimately get, it's not just a clear roadmap that's customized to your particular goals and the resources that you may or may not have, but we give you and equip you the tools and resources to be able to execute with confidence. We give you ongoing coaching and guidance, accountability and support. Here's the best part. All of that with the right people, like-minded individuals who are seeking the same thing you're seeking. In many cases, who have already achieved their first, in some cases, second, third, even fourth storage deals. So there's just a healthy mix of experience in there. And for me, finding the right coach, being a part of the right community, that has meant everything. There's no way I would be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for the right people pouring into my life and surrounding myself with just like-minded individuals who are a few steps ahead, or in some cases, many steps ahead of where I'm going and where I want to go. So the first video I want you to watch in the Amplifier training section is what we call the Freedom Path. And this is about the Storage Wins coaching community. And we'll share with you exactly how the ecosystem works, how you can plug in and accelerate your path to true freedom. Now, look, I have outlined and designed you to have everything you need here. But if you want to move faster with the right people, and you want the support and the guidance on a frequent basis, and you want access to deal flow, in some cases access to capital, because of the organic relationships that are built inside of our Storage Wins community, I would encourage you to click the link somewhere on this page. Definitely watch the Freedom Path and the Amplifier training sessions, and then you can continue to build and go from there. Look, either way, you've got the map, you got the framework, you have already started to hopefully build momentum. Now it's time to execute, because if you have spent the last 7 to 10 hours with me or whatever it's been, but you don't execute, you don't put into action what you have learned, then it's all for nothing. Then yes, you have a lot more knowledge than most people have, but what good is that going to do you if you don't take that massive imperfect action that I really think has been the theme throughout the whole cash flow maps training. And it's kind of the foundation of our Storage Wins coaching community. It's having that attitude of progress, not perfection. It's staying consistent. It's knowing and trusting that you're not always going to have all the answers, but hopefully now you have this roadmap. And I would say hopefully you decide to surround yourself with like-minded individuals who can give you the support and the guidance and the answers when you inevitably sometimes just get stuck and you don't know what to do, because we don't know what we don't know, and we might not have that experience. Remember something, life and business, they were not meant to be done alone. So understand that your freedom is a lot closer than you think. So my invitation to you is to learn more in the Amplifier training session with the Freedom Path, and let's go build it together. So that's the facility freedom method. When you combine the right systems, the right people, and the right operating rhythm and framework, something powerful is going to start to happen. Your storage facility stops depending on you and it starts working for you. And that's when this business becomes what it was always meant to be. The reason you were interested in self-storage in the first place. It's a vehicle for cash flow, flexibility, financial freedom, and time freedom. It's a business that just gives you options. Now, if you want to go deeper and accelerate this process, the next step is to explore the Amplifier training sessions, where we break down more advanced strategies for scaling, for deal flow, for building your storage business faster, and even for doing some outside the box things. So you're going to see exactly how the Storage Wins community works, how we help professionals buy their first or their next storage facility. But either way, you now have a map, you have the roadmap, and the only thing left to do is to implement and execute. So I'm excited for you. If I can serve you in any way, comment below, find me on social media, reach out. My name is Alex Pardo, and it has been great to be your guide through this cash flow maps acquisition system. Thanks again.